Right friends, welcome back to news of the day, and as I have already told you, from May 1st I am planning to discuss 20 questions a day, and the second session will be revision of current affairs of 2016-17. So, one session will be revision of current affairs, maybe around 30 to 40 minutes, and the second session will be discussing 20 questions. So, these two sessions will go on from May 1st, probably they may be sufficient to take care of the examinations. 5 days a week we will start from May 1st and they will go on up to June 15th. So, this is the tentative planning, and with regard to policies and programs, we have already uploaded 9 and 3 more are going to be uploaded in learningspacedigital.com before this weekend. So, total 12 modules will take care of policies and programs, and 2 things committed by me. One is economic survey and balance economy lectures. They will start appearing from next week onwards, and I will try to complete before May end, if not by 15th of June. So, as promised, policies and programs, economic survey, then economy, these will be completed positively before the preliminary examination. And second point I would like to tell you, from May 1st onwards we will have 2 sessions a day, weekly 5 days. One is with regard to discussion of 20 questions a day with very high standard, at least some of them will be high standard, because if I discuss all the 20 questions of high standard you will get bored, and at least 10 of them I will keep at least high standard, 10 of the questions out of 20. Then second point is around 30 to 40 minutes we will discuss the revision of current affairs of 2016-17. So, those sessions will be highly useful, and from now onwards as usual we are continuing daily this news of the day along with 10 questions. So, this pattern will continue up to the month end. So, news of the day: Election Commission seeks funds for paper trail units. If you look at Election Commission, in fact 3 things comes to my mind as far as Election Commission is concerned. When the money power is involved in the elections, when 50 crores, 100 crores money was just taken note of by the Election Commission before elections, at present the power is countermanding the elections, and Election Commission is asking for disqualification of the candidates. Election Commission is asking for disqualification of the candidates. Then second important point is pertaining to counting of votes on cluster basis. At present independently, that means booth wise are declared, booth wise results are declared out of 1000 votes, which party got how many votes, and the need of the hour is to go for cluster based counting. Basically sometimes discrimination happens in the development after looking at the results of booth wise elections. So, cluster based counting is the second thing. Third thing is Election Commission is asking for this voter verified paper audit trail, VVPAT, voter verified paper audit trail, and this is the third one which is required. And now Election Commission is asking for money to procure them as early as possible, and these are ballot units and control units. We have seen it several times. Now, let us look at this VVPAT, voter verifiable paper audit trail. Once we cast the vote, some paper printing format will come out, that is voter verifiable. Voter can verify there itself for which candidate he voted, that will be available on that print mechanism, and subsequently it will go into the box within 7 seconds as per the news report. So, you may have a doubt, what is the advantage of VVPAT? First and the foremost is the voter, whoever voted, will know to which party or which candidate he voted, and he can very well confirm that the vote has gone to that candidate. That is the first advantage. Second advantage is even in the audit process, if some candidate complains, then subsequently that can be audited. So, this is the second advantage. So, because of these two advantages, so as to dispel the fears of the opposition parties on the usage of this ballot units and control units, or you can say electronic voting machines. Now, the election commission is asking for release of money to procure this type of VVPAT machines, right. So, this is about the news item. A glacial fight, this is in fact appearing in the editorial page. This is with regard to the Siachen glacier. Siachen glacier is the highest elevated battlefield in the world, and Indian armed forces captured it in Operation Meghdut somewhere around 1984, on April 13, 1984. So, now this talks about whether this is required to be kept because some loss of lives are occurring at Siachen glacier. So, militarization of that area is required or not. So, this article talks about that, and I will present a small capsule on Siachen glacier. So, I am not discussing further now. Then the next item is Collegium clears 51 names for High Court, and here Supreme Court Collegium recommended 51 names for appointment as judges in 10 high courts of the country, and the Collegium is headed by the Chief Justice of India. And now it appears that the issue pertaining to memorandum of procedure, or you can say MOP, between the government and the judiciary, or you can say between the executive and the judiciary, is finally solved, and 51 judges names were recommended after the finalization of memorandum of procedure. This is the good sign, and in future let us hope the 40% of the vacancies existing will be filled as early as possible in the high courts. Iran's silence on Jadhav baffling. Why Iran is silent? Please look into this. In fact, India says that he was taken whether by the Pakistani army or by non-state actors like some terrorist organizations from a place that is Chabahar. Chabahar is in Iran. India says that he was taken from Chabahar, not arrested in Balochistan. But now the Iran's silence is not understandable to India, right. So, this news item is with regard to that, and in editorial discussion sometime we will discuss about all these geopolitical factors. So, please go through this news item, you can easily understand. Then China-Nepal exercises don't worry us India, and for the first time China-Nepal exercise, that is Sagarmatha Friendship 2017. So, China-Nepal armed exercises known as Sagarmatha Friendship 2017 began. These are for the first time Nepal is having exercises with China, and it is very much pertinent because India has got treaty of friendship with Nepal since 1950. India and Nepal have got special relationship, right. So, this is the aspect which India is watching keenly, but India says that do not worry us. But for the first time Nepal conducting exercises with China is the important point to note. No one can ignore that. CBI goes after shell companies. When someone says a shell company, that gives wrong connotation, and no doubt for 80% of the times these shell companies are being used for money laundering, no doubt about it. But there are some legitimate purposes of shell companies also. Raising funds before starting the operations, sometimes attempting a takeover, sometimes before going public. So, there are several aspects when shell companies can be established, but shell companies are synonymous with tax havens. Several shell companies are established in tax havens like Bahamas, Mauritius, exclusively with the purpose of tax avoidance. That is one aspect. And the second aspect is several shell companies were formed for money laundering, especially during demonetization exercise. During demonetization, several shell companies were formed, and basically this is a front for illegal business, but shell company, the meaning, please understand, the meaning is not for avoiding the tax, not for illegal business. They are taking up these activities, but shell company can be established for legitimate purposes also, please understand, right. Erdogan poised to win the referendum. Already he won the referendum. Erdogan, please look into this. Turkey. So, Turkey, the president will have overriding powers. Now, the referendum, he got the support of 51%. So, Turkey presidential elections will be held in 2019 and 2 times maximum presidency. So, up to 2029, Erdogan can be the president. That is one aspect. The second aspect is president will have overriding powers, right. This is about Turkey, and when you look at Turkey, please do not forget various aspects pertaining to Turkey from geography perspective. We have discussed several times. So, these are very important: Aegean Sea, Sea of Marmara, Dardanelles Strait, Bosphorus Strait connects to Black Sea. So, all these things please do not forget. Then energy going where the wind blows. I would like to tell you, we crossed 30 gigawatt wind power. Our total power generation capacity is around 320 gigawatt. Total out of 320 gigawatt, or you can say 3,20,000 megawatt. That is our total power generation capacity. Now, out of the total power generation capacity, wind power constitutes 10%. So, it is the 4th country after China, USA, Germany in generation of wind power. Please go through this news report. After China, USA, Germany, India is the 4th country in wind power generation. So, this is the news item pertaining to wind power. So, let us stop here, then let us go ahead with the prelims 2017 discussion. First one is, look at the following sentences. Orangutan. Orangutan is badly affected because of deforestation and consequent palm oil cultivation in Indonesia. In Indonesia, in recent times, of course, Malaysia is also included. So, in Indonesia and Malaysia, this orangutan is badly affected because of deforestation and consequent palm oil cultivation. This is the right sentence. Look at the second sentence. Population of giant panda increased in recent times. And please look at the conservation status. Last year, there was some upgradation with regard to IUCN conservation status as far as this giant panda is concerned. And here the sentence is, the population of giant panda increased in recent times because of the conservation efforts by Chinese authorities. Giant panda, please look into this picture. This is giant panda and its food is primarily bamboo. So, what China has done? China developed bamboo forest basically to protect giant panda. Now, because of the conservation efforts by Chinese authorities, giant panda population is showing increase. And please do not forget, bamboo forest is the main thing required for this giant panda, right. So, orangutan, if somebody is talking about orangutan, that is badly affected in Indonesia and Malaysia, and giant panda, its population increased because of the conservation efforts by the Chinese authorities, basically developing the bamboo forest. So, these two both are correct, right. Look into the next question. Peace treaty was concluded with the FARC rebels in Colombia. I need not tell you, recently peace treaty was concluded with the FARC rebels in Colombia. Colombia, please look into this. This is northern part of South America, and peace treaty was concluded with FARC rebels. Similarly, a militant group ETA, another militant group is there across the world, ETA, that is demanding independent Basque state for the past several years. ETA is demanding independent Basque state. They now also began the process of handing over remaining weapons. They are now handing over the remaining weapons, and ETA goal is to create independent Basque state out of. So, now ETA is surrendering the arms, that is different story, but what is the goal? The goal of ETA is to create independent Basque state out of France and Spain. So, that region spreads across France and Spain. So, Basque country between France and Spain. Now, the extremists are surrendering the arms, and in Spain, please do not forget, this Basque is spread across both France and Spain, that is one aspect, and Catalonia region in Spain, that is also asking for independence. So, Catalonia is the region in Spain which is asking for independence, and Basque state is between the proposed, or you can say that the ETA militants Basque state is between Spain and France. So, these things, and FARC rebels Colombia, these things please do not forget, and Scotland may also go for referendum, that is in UK. Look at the following: Wangala festival, Sangai festival, Chapcharkut festival, all three correct. Here Wangala is drums festival, please look into this picture. This Wangala festival is belongs to Meghalaya. Sangai festival belongs to Manipur. Chapcharkut, this is Mizoram. So, all three correct. Please look into the pictures, and when you are looking at Sangai festival, that is Manipur, please do not forget Sangai deer. Sangai deer belongs to Manipur, and we discussed last week about Dachigam National Park and Hangul. Please do not forget that. So, these things are very important from examination perspective. Then look at the following sentences. Interest rate structure in our country is on the downward trend for the past few years. Absolutely correct. Interest rate structure in general, the interest rate structure is on the downward trend for the past few years. Then second point is inflation is also reducing, thereby in general it is increasing of course for the past few months, that is different story, but in general inflation is also on the reducing trend, thereby the real rate of return is reducing. Here you see real rate of return is reducing, it is not correct, because when interest rates are reducing, when inflation is also reducing, please listen to me carefully, when interest rates are reducing, inflation is also reducing, then what happens? Real rate of return may not reduce. Government may try to keep real rate of return almost constant, because if real rate of return is reduced, then it will be at the cost of the consumers, or you can say common man will be affected, and the persons whoever are keeping the money in banks will be affected. So, the second sentence is wrong. So, one only correct. So, interest rate structure in our country is on the downward trend for the past few years, correct. Inflation is in general reducing, that is also correct, but the real rate of return is reducing, this is not correct. So, one only. White helmets is in the news recently, and it is the humanitarian organization working in Syria, please do not forget, in the civil war affected regions of Syria. White Helmets is the organization that is working, and please do not forget Medicines Sans Frontiers or Doctors Without Borders, that is the organization which is working in several countries wherever it is affected because of some disturbances. Wherever the countries are affected because of some disturbances, then this Medicines Sans Frontiers is working. Now, this White Helmets, it is the voluntary humanitarian organization working in Syria. These things please do not forget, Medicines Sans Frontiers, at the same time White Helmets. And look at the next question, which of the following is incorrectly matched? Which of the following is incorrectly matched? And before going ahead, I would like to tell you one point. Palmyra, please do not forget, Palmyra is the historic city in Syria which is totally devastated. Historical structures were devastated by Islamic State. So, Palmyra is a historic city in Syria. So, here which of the following is incorrectly matched? One is Calais. Calais is into the news for almost 5-6 months during 2016 because of the reason it is the entry point of this tube tunnel where the trains go towards UK and that through English Channel. So, Calais is in France. So, several migrants were waiting frantically at Calais, that is why this Calais is into the news. So, this is incorrect match. Calais is in France. And then Aleppo, Aleppo is into the news, and when you are looking at Syria, please do not forget Aleppo is one historical city which was badly damaged, and at the same time Palmyra was also badly damaged. Palmyra is a historic city. Mosul is in Iraq. Then Marrakesh is into the news several times last year. One important aspect with regard to Marrakesh is Marrakesh Treaty came into force in September. That is visually impaired persons treaty, Marrakesh. So, Marrakesh is in Morocco, right. So, these aspects please do not forget. Then if you look at some African city, Kigali Pact. So, please do not forget Kigali Pact which was signed, and Kigali in which country it is situated. These things are very important. 21st century Panglong Peace Conference. 21st century Panglong Peace Conference is in the news recently. It pertains to Myanmar. Here there are several ethnic groups, and to ensure peace among the ethnic groups, this 21st century Panglong Peace Conference. In fact, Panglong Peace Conference is there originally, and now it is revived, and Aung San Suu Kyi revived it. This 21st century Panglong Peace Conference pertains to Myanmar. Read the following sentences with regard to differentiation between banks and non-banking financial companies or NBFCs. Banks, non-banking financial companies. Banks, all of you are familiar with banks. Non-banking financial companies are just like Shriram Finance, Bajaj Finance, Muthoot Finance, Manappuram Finance. These are all non-banking financial companies. NBFCs cannot accept demand deposits. This is correct. Non-banking finance companies, they cannot accept demand deposits. In banks, we can go and deposit, that is a savings account. In banks, we deposit money, that is savings account. Companies deposit money, that is current account, and these are known as demand deposits, and these are not accepted for NBFCs. NBFCs with the special approval can go for fixed deposits only, not demand deposits. DICGC insurance facility is not available to the depositors of NBFCs. Absolutely correct. This DICGC, Deposit Insurance Credit Guarantee Corporation, this is the wholly owned subsidiary of Reserve Bank of India. What is the purpose of DICGC? DICGC purpose is when some bank collapses, then up to rupees 1 lakh insurance facility will be there. Then this is correct, it is not available to the NBFCs. Then all the NBFCs are regulated by RBI. This is absolutely wrong. Some of the NBFCs are regulated by RBI, not all. Different NBFCs have got different regulators, so please understand. So, the answer is 1 and 2 are correct. Look into the next one with regard to Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, please listen to policies and programs. We have enlisted 108 and we are going to add another 36. We exhaustively dealt with policies and programs. So, it is to support families below poverty line to get LPG connection. It is to support families below poverty line to get LPG connection, absolutely correct. Monetary support of rupees 1600, absolutely correct, will be given per each connection. Then totally sponsored by the central government, absolutely correct, and will be implemented using the money saved in LPG subsidy through the Give It Up campaign. And you may have a doubt what is meant by Give It Up. Give It Up means the Prime Minister called the people to give up subsidy voluntarily. So, when you are looking at LPG, please do not forget, it is the largest program in the world with the direct benefit transfer. Please understand, largest program in the world with the direct benefit transfer is this direct benefit transfer for LPG, which is also known as PEHL. Then Give It Up. Give It Up campaign is basically to give up voluntarily the subsidy, and that money is intended to be used by the central government to give subsidy to the poor people. So, all three are correct. So, please understand all these things when you look at Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, right. Look at the next one. Look at the following sentences with regard to Ujjwala. Unnat Jyoti by affordable LEDs for all. This is implemented by EESL, right, Energy Efficiency Services Limited. Please understand, this is implemented by Energy Efficiency Services Limited, and Energy Efficiency Services Limited is the joint venture of the public sector undertakings under the Ministry of Power. Central, there are some public sector undertakings like Rural Electrification Corporation. So, it is the joint venture of public sector undertakings under the Ministry of Power, that is EESL. The goal is to provide energy efficient LEDs. Total 77 crore incandescent lamps are going to be replaced with LEDs. So, this is undertaken by EESL or Energy Efficiency Services Limited, right. So, all three are correct here. So, with this we will conclude today's lecture. Please do join for editorial discussion. Tomorrow we will discuss another 10 questions, and from May 1st we will discuss 20 questions in a separate session. Have a nice day. Thank you.